Have you ever heard about the story of the cosmic rays influencing the Mario 64 game? This is a story I heard many times, and people just accept it as the truth. But the real question is, was it really the case? Like, maybe there's another reason how it all happened. And maybe that was just one possible but very unlikely explanation. And let's watch a video which discusses this in more detail. This is a video from Lunatic J called The Biggest Myth in Speedrunning History. And let's see what he has to say about all of this.
Misinformation is unfortunately common whenever people talk about speedrunning.
Not only speedrunning, unfortunately.
Myths such as glitches are cheating, TaskBot is a machine.
Well, that's just an opinion, but I think, yeah, come on. How do you define cheating? I think it's not cheating as long as in the rules of the specific category you're speedrunning in. If you make a glitchless category and you agree on these rules, then of course it's cheating.
Machine learning AI, and speedrun being
Wait, what?
Glitches are cheating, TaskBot is a machine learning AI, and
yeah, right. I know that there are some examples of machine learning AIs making speedrunning already like a long time ago, like maybe 10 years ago even. But yeah, TAS is done manually.
And speedrun being 2 words instead of 1.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
However, one particular speedrunning myth stands above the rest in terms of how widespread
You can never open this chest.
it is, how widely accepted it is among the casual audience, and how much it continues to annoy speedrunners and
Exactly. It's just very annoying.
taskers alike. Because it probably didn't even happen. The myth that
Okay, that's it. Basically, it didn't happen. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.
a cosmic ray
I'm
from
kidding.
outer space caused a spontaneous upwarp that saved time in a Super Mario 64 speedrun. Now, you've probably heard about this incident either from a YouTube video or even a meme posted on social media.
Yeah.
But in case you have no idea what I'm talking about, boy, do I have the story for you. And if
Let's
you
go.
end up enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe if you like speedrunning
Yes.
content. Thank you. 10
Always
years
important to remember, because if you look at the statistics of any video, it's always like most people are not subscribed. And come on, why? Just subscribe to the people you like to watch. It really helps them.
ago, on September 21st, 2013, a 70-star speedrun race between 2 runners, Dota Teabag and Midboss, took place. The race itself wasn't particularly high profile or notable, but 54 minutes into the
Yeah. That's probably my level when I try to speedrun Mario 64.
race, something very strange happened. Dota Teabag was in the middle of collecting red coins and tick-tock clock, when suddenly
Don't you want to do moving reds?
What the? Did you get invisible walls?
What? Mario warped straight up, past the graded
Yeah, how did it save time actually when he was trying to collect the red coins? Like, I guess you can just do a different start then, but you already lost a lot of time trying to collect the red coins, so yeah.
ceiling above him before falling on top, skipping the climb up the platforms. This anomaly was saved as a highlight on Teabag's Twitch channel, but wouldn't garner much attention quite yet. Nearly 2 years later in 2015, veteran Mario 64 speedrunner Kaiman would stumble upon the Dota Teabag upwarp clip and was intrigued. Upwarps under different circumstances had already been a well-documented glitch, where if Mario jumps into the very edge of a ceiling while also underneath a higher adjacent hangable ceiling, Mario will snap to the higher hangable ceiling as long as
Yeah, maybe there was just an invisible wall in that exact place and nobody has ever found it before.
A is still being held. You can even see speedrunners perform this type of upwarp in Bowser in the
The moment before Suigi became like the most legendary speedrunner ever. But he is now.
Fire Sea to save time. But this upwarp was different. There were no hangable ceilings in Tick-Tock Clock.
That you know about. Who knows?
And Mario didn't jump into the edge of a ceiling. In fact, he wasn't initiating a jump at all. He was landing from a previous one. Clearly, this was not like any previously known upwarp. Curious for answers behind the anomaly, he sent the clip to Panenkoic 2012, a TASer most well known for the A-Button Challenge, a massive tool-assisted project which aims to collect all 120 stars in Mario 64 with as few A-presses as possible. Naturally, this caught Panenkoic's attention, as again, Teabag ascended as he was landing from a jump rather than initiating one. This meant that if this new type of upwarp could be replicated and properly understood, it could potentially be a new trick used to save more A-presses.
Exactly.
However, neither Panenkoic or
that's what you use new tricks for, just saving A-presses. That's the most important thing.
Anyone else had any luck replicating it. Still seeking answers, on August 4th, 2015, Panenkoic made a YouTube video about the mysterious TTC upwarp, offering a $1,000 bounty to anyone who was able to recreate it in the Mupen 64 emulator.
Yeah, there you have to be very careful that nobody is just trying to fake it. But I guess when you do it like with an emulator file, like anyone could replay it, and then it should not be possible to fake it.
And send Panenkoic the M64 file,
right,
which contains the controller input data that could be played back in Mupen.
That's basically just a TAS. That's also how a TAS works, I guess.
Not long after Panenkoic published the bounty announcement, people in the YouTube comment section would begin to theorize what may have caused the sudden...
It's so funny, I just have to tell the story. As a child, I always thought that TAS is just a name for somebody being very good at speedrunning, and that it was actually done by a human. And the moment when I found out, I was so disappointed that all these people I was thinking were so amazing at this stuff were just using a tool. But of course, it's still very interesting to watch them.
An upwarp. One theory that stood out was that a bit flip occurred in the game's memory that affected Mario's height, which might explain such a drastic warp. Panenkoic would then test this hypothesis in a video uploaded to his secondary channel on August 6. In this video, he tasked Teabag's movement up until the upwarp, where he then tested two different scenarios. The first was warping Mario straight to the ceiling, which didn't seem to quite match the original clip. The second scenario instead modified the first byte representing Mario's height from C5 to C4. These
that
are
sounds
hexadecimal
explosive.
bytes for 197 and 196 respectively. And when this byte is written in binary, you can flip the first bit to change it from 197 to 196. When Panenkoic flipped this bit from 1 to 0, it resulted in an upwarp that was visually similar to the Dota Teabag clip. Although the comparison between the bit flip and the original clip was not a one-to-one match visually, this would become the leading hypothesis for the TTC upwarp for the time being. The question was, if there was a bit flip, what caused it?
Yeah.
And
now let's go for some wild theories. What can cause a bit flip?
could it be replicated? The mysterious circumstances surrounding the upwarp led YouTube commenters to hypothesize some interesting theories.
What could it be? What could be the interesting theories? Well, just don't look at the title of the video.
Like, I don't know, cosmic rays? Yeah,
No way.
This is where it all came from. The theory goes that when cosmic rays reaches the Earth's atmosphere and they break apart into smaller ionized particles, the radiation of the particle has the capability to flip a bit in a computer's memory, which may result in a glitch known as a single event upset. This theory is out there, to say the least.
And people in the internet just love crazy theories.
It's very rare that a bit flip from an ionized particle would affect something like a computer or a Nintendo 64 in a visually observable manner, especially with something like a sudden upwarp that sticks out like a sore thumb. There have been single event upsets in history where the cosmic ray theory is plausible given the circumstances. But in the case of the TTC upwarp, it's a bit of a leap in logic to assume that over a potential answer found in-game or even a hardware malfunction.
Yeah,
Koic
that's
himself
much more likely.
noted how outlandish he found the theory. Regardless, no one was able to recreate the exact
Just a bit far-fetched, like the bit that was flipped, you know? Yeah, never mind.
upwarp. Even as the $1,000 bounty garnered more outside attention, the cause behind it remained a mystery. Years passed with no leads on the TTC upwarp. Solving this mystery was put on the back burner as Tassers and the ABC.
Yes, it's just nobody does any progress, and then everyone just accepts, oh, it has to be Cosmic Ray, so let's just run with this. And I heard actually a lot of people talk about it as if it really happened, so people really believe in it.
Crew focused on other projects. Cosmic rays remained a mere hypothesis, and an unlikely one at that. No SM64 expert 100% bought into that theory, and on February 21st, 2018, Dota Teabag left a comment on Panon's Bitflip comparison video that made cosmic rays seem all the more doubtful. For what it's worth, I often had to tilt my cartridge weird ways in order to get the game to start. It seemed that I had it all the way pressed down sometimes, it wouldn't start, but if I pulled up on one side ever so slightly, it would start just fine. So, if you...
So basically, let's see if this is sharp. Basically, like with the old Game Boy hardwares, I'm not finding a proper, real red Game Boy cartridge for Pokemon or something like this, but this is like for the Game Boy Advance. Like when you don't put it in properly here, like just a little bit wrong, something like this, it might react a bit differently. Like I don't know. Now I don't have it in properly. Let's see if something happens. Okay, it still starts properly, but I didn't put it in properly, and I noticed that it can actually happen that like that it just reacts a little bit weird or has some visual glitches, and yeah, I think that's a much more likely explanation. Like especially if this guy says that he did something like this. Yeah, and if you really play on real hardware and not on an emulator. And especially also on an emulator, I mean, emulators can also be very strange sometimes. So in either case, there could be a lot of reasons with the hardware.
I think that's a possible factor. It's worth considering that fact. Yeah, I believe it is worth strongly considering a faulty cartridge and
worth strongly considering, exactly,
console as a potential cause. And that's what SM64 Tasser Danebo did.
Yeah,
Soon
exactly. That's how my Mario 64 looks like. That's just very normal.
After, Dane bought Dota Teabag's Nintendo 64 and Mario 64 cartridge. The next month,
some people buy underwear from other creators, and then there are those people who are like, I want your Nintendo 64, please. Thank you.
He performed some hardware tests and messed around with it. It was in a somewhat faulty condition, but after running a few tests on the N64, nothing notable popped up and he was unable to recreate the upwarp. A cartridge tilt would often lead to messed up animations, audio, and game crashes.
Here I use a setup where...
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you notice. But I mean, it's very plausible that the cartridge being in a wrong way could cause something like this. If it can cause this kind of stuff. If it can cause this kind of stuff. And we already saw that just one single bit flip can theoretically cause the upwarp in that situation.
Dirty or loose pin connections between the cartridge and the console are a more likely culprit though, as somewhat recent anomalies.
Yeah, there's also this entire game, which is basically based on the idea that there's like some dust in between the cartridge and the console, and the entire game is just buggy on purpose. I don't know what the game is called, but I once heard about it.
Were likely caused by such a faulty connection or cart slap, which may lead.
And even if you cannot represent it with the same hardware and the same console, it's probably because it's very unlikely that exactly this thing happens. So yeah, probably it's still very likely that this is the cause of it.
To some sudden shifts in code. Here's some examples. On August 1st, 2018, A video from a Japanese runner, Atogami, was posted on YouTube by another Japanese runner, Aki. We can see that 17 minutes deep into a 70-star speedrun, Atogami falls off the Cool mountain slide during the penguin race.
I was expecting an upwarp right at that moment, but he just died.
Upset, he hits his console in frustration.
Oh.
Upon regaining his composure, he jumps back into the painting. Except it didn't take him back to Cool Mountain, but instead, Big Boo's haunt.
Oh. So basically hitting your console is now a speedrun strategy if you're angry. Guys, that's the matter. If it's not forbidden, it's allowed. Let's do it. We will all beat Suichi.
I bet you've never seen that happen before. I'd say this is a very strong example of a cart slap. Another anomaly happened much more recently on January 21st, 2024. At the start of a 16-star attempt, speedrunner Xandri experienced a very glitchy sky effect.
Yes, guys, epilepsy warning. So just beware, careful with this.
Out of the blue. Like, literally, where's the blue sky? This persisted until he entered the castle. The character animations and audio were fine, and the glitchy sky effect did not happen in the other levels. When Xandri lost the run, he went back outside the castle to see if the sky was still messed up.
I love that he lost his run on calendars.
It was back to normal. How strange. Xandri would also go on
But
record
imagine if this was a world record. I think there would be a lot of discussions about if it should be accepted or not.
Say that his N64 was particularly sensitive and susceptible to loose cart connections and even cart tilts. It's worth noting that cartridge tilts themselves are not known to replicate upwarps or flip bits, but it's more plausible that a cart slap, bad pin connections, or even some other memory error was responsible for.
I still think if it's possible that this kind of stuff happens through the cartridge not being in properly, a bit flip can happen. Like, seriously, come on. It's so much more likely than a cosmic ray. There could be something we just don't know about, something we didn't discover, because, I mean, you just always discover new things about video games.
For the tick-tock clock upwarp. More likely than cosmic rays,
Yes?
it's entirely possible that no bits were flipped at all, because neither cart tilts nor slaps flip bits. Again, without knowing the exact displacement of Mario's height in the Dota teabag clip, we have no confirmation that a bit flip even happened at all.
Exactly, it's just possible that a bit flip caused this, but also the recreation of the bit flip showed that it's not exactly the same upwarp.
When you consider the condition of Teabag's cart in N64, the proof of concept video not matching exactly, and the opinion of experts of Mario 64 and the N64 hardware. But let's humor that possibility for a second.
Okay.
What if a bit actually did flip in memory to cause the upwarp? Surely then it has to be a cosmic ray, right? Well,
Exactly, that's the only explanation.
not really. In fact, another phenomenon occurred in Tick-Tock Clock again. In May 2020,
That's unbelievable. It's another cosmic ray, guys. It's real. It's proper. Like now, there's no doubt. Like, seriously.
speedrunner Dupdome was practicing Tick-Tock Clock, specifically the 100 coin star, when suddenly, one of the moving bars from above teleported downwards from where it's supposed to be.
Oh no.
Not only that, but throughout the VOD, even during an actual speedrun attempt, there would be some reoccurring graphical glitches with Mario's shadow in Tick-Tock Clock. After Dupdome uploaded the clip and streamed VOD to YouTube, SM64 expert Quate began to investigate, and wrote up a Google Doc trying to make sense of everything. The SM64 tasking community investigated Dupdome's footage, and managed to recreate the moving bar warp by flipping one specific bit. They even did the same for one of the weird one-frame extended shadow glitches, showing that bit flips were a likely cause for some of the weird glitches on Dupdome's N64. But don't get it twisted.
So basically, there were multiple bit flips that happened in TikTok Shock and caused this stuff, and it just shows that random bit flips are possible. basically. And come on, that's not Cosmic Rays that caused them.
This does not mean that it was a single event upset caused by cosmic rays.
Exactly.
Especially if multiple bits may have been flipping. In fact, this was not the only recorded time Dupdome saw that same moving bar downwarp for no apparent reason. It happened again. Clearly,
wow.
This had to be a deeper hardware error of some kind causing these reoccurring glitches. Taking into account that Dupdome's N64 appeared to have frequent bit flip errors, including 2 separate instances of the moving bar downwarping, there is significantly more evidence pointing towards a malfunctioning memory cache to have caused all those glitches. That or some other hardware-related error is far more likely of a theory than cosmic rays.
Hi there, the editor here.
Hi there.
If we were to still humor the bit flip theory, there is a possibility that it could be some other type of interference. For instance, electromagnetic interference. Something as common as a power surge may potentially be to blame for the causes of bit flips. And if you listen to Teabag's surroundings during the race, there is a lot of construction going on.
What the?
Yeah, there's so many possible explanations for it except for Cosmic Rays. Come on, guys. But that's how the internet works.
If it was that, perhaps someone could do something to recreate it. Though I will admit, even when trying to use a high-powered food processor next to the N64 to get something to happen, nothing did.
There have even been recent mysterious downwarps that were probably not caused by a bit flip. On December 8th, 2022, Peruvian speedrunner Ian_1243 experienced a strange downwarp in Bowser in the Fire Sea.
I know that there is an upwarp at this point, which is used commonly, but that's really strange.
During a run. This downwarp was not caused by any currently documented methods, and is still considered an unsolved mystery. But we know for a fact that it wasn't a bit flip, because the vertical displacement is estimated to have been around 900 units. Bits in memory represent exponential powers of 2.
Exactly. Here we go again with the powers of 2, and 900 is not part of that number.
When a bit is flipped, it adds or subtracts a value representing a clean power of 2 to a byte in memory. The closest power of 2 to 900 is 1000.
Ah shit, I was not fast enough.
But according to the experts, Mario doesn't seem to be displaced by that much from the sudden downwarp, making a bit flip highly unlikely. So, if SM64 experts were able to come up with more realistic theories for the TTC upwarp based on Dota Teabag's faulty hardware, other similar anomalies, and their own understanding of the game and the N64
yeah, then it should be very clear that it was not Cosmic Ray, and the media should be the media and actually understand this and not go for crazy headlines and stuff like this. Right?
Architecture, why did the cosmic ray theory suddenly spread across the internet
Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait.
as if it actually happened?
Clickbait.
The answer is bad gaming journalism.
Exactly.
On September 16th, 2020, an article covering Dota Teabag's TikTok clock upwarp titled "How an
Save time." Well, it didn't really save time. He was collecting the red coins for that star, and would have been faster if he collected all of them and not been warped up. But okay, never mind.
ionizing particle from outer space helped a Mario speedrunner save time was published on The Gamer. Based on The Gamer's previous video coverage of speedruns, you know you're in for a real treat.
A gamer with a tag of Funilla SM64 dives, jumps, and bursts through multiple levels as he makes seemingly impossible jumps.
That's an interesting texture pack for Mario 64.
Objection!
What was I saying? Tess, yeah, when you don't know anything about speedrunning, then you think that Taz is actually a real player playing, but guys, come on. That's not gaming journalism. Just no way.
That's why we've compiled a list of 10 video game speedruns that will never be beaten.
Yes, never say never.
Anyways, the article gives a recap of the upwarp, what makes it different from a normal upwarp, and the $1,000 bounty from Panenkoic 12, and then makes the bold claim that the upwarp was certainly caused by an ionizing particle, citing
Certainly. Exactly. Exactly. That's how it works, and people believe this. No wonder that our world is completely fucked.
Panenkoic 12 and his comparison video, claiming it was 100% confirmed that it was a bit flip. The author states it with so much confidence that it is 100% confirmed that they ignored the part in the video description where it states that the glitch is not solved and the idea of a cosmic ray is a bit far-fetched.
Really? Oh no, that's not good.
And thus began a classic game of telephone. On February 7th, 2021, a tweet containing an excerpt from the game.
There's a scene in Madagascar 2 where all the apes talk to each other. I think it was apes. I don't remember. I didn't watch the movie for such a long time, but like it's really like they tell something to one side and they just completely understand something else on the other side because like everyone tells it to everyone.
Article went viral, getting 32,000 likes and over 5,000 retweets, bringing a lot of attention to not only the TTC upwarp once again, but now the cosmic ray theory as well. This unlikely theory began to spread across the internet as if it was a proven fact, much to the chagrin of many members of the speedrun community, who had more context than the general public did. Later that week, news articles from various gaming and pop culture publications began to
Snowball effect, let's go.
Post articles about the TTC upwarp caused by cosmic rays theory.
That's like the thing that some film journalists always say. When there are like crazy theories, you should always like look in the articles for the source and then go further until you find a proper source and then like check out what it's really about. And often it's just something very stupid and everyone just writes something about it because they can use another article as a source, which already claims something crazy.
Many of them regurgitating info from the Gamer article, typos included.
Exactly.
This topic became even more widespread on August 31st, 2021, when the popular educational YouTube channel Veritasium published "The Universe is Hostile to Computers," a video that discusses cosmic rays and how ionized particles from said cosmic rays can affect computers by flipping bits. It has 20 million views.
And I guess they talked about this one example as well, right? Without really understanding it.
For the most part, it is a very well-made and well-researched video.
Yeah, I see where this is going. It's definitely going to bring up this one example.
Citing various academic journals, anecdotes of real-world events, and the gamer.
That's not good.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a short 1.5-minute segment about the TikTok clock upwarp, using the Gamer article and
21 million views.
Panenkoic 12's proof of concept video as an example of a bit flip definitely happening.
Definitely, guys. Definitely. I activated subtitles, sorry. Definitely.
To a cosmic ray. As you could imagine, with it being featured in such a popular video, it spread around the internet like a wildfire again. More news articles covering the TTC upwarp were then published.
Nintendo Live. Yeah, come on. Come on, Nintendo Live. I like to watch your videos.
Including one from PC Gamer that erroneously claims that Panenkoic came out with proof 6 years after he put out the bounty that it was caused by cosmic rays.
Proof? Really? What kind of proof, please? Please just tell me. I want to know.
Every so often, you'll see the occasional cosmic rays affecting my Mario 64 speedrun meme either on Twitter, Reddit, iFunny, you name it.
iFunny. I should check out that website. That sounds very funny. If it was made by Apple.
People see these memes and then find out about the TikTok clock upwarp and assume that it was just caused by a random cosmic ray, unaware that it just isn't true. The mystery was never solved, yet it is being touted as
Well, but it's very likely to know that it was just faulty hardware that caused the bit flip. Or something else about the hardware.
such. To this day, members of the Mario 64 community are annoyed by the memes and misinformation whenever the topic goes
Understandable.
viral yet again. All the while, oblivious internet users keep unknowingly spreading around the biggest myth in speedrunning history.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to the Super Mario 64 tasking community for their incredible documentation over the years, as well as Wikipedia for being such an incredible wiki for Mario 64 speedrunning, mechanics, glitches, etc. Thanks to the pages related to the history of the TTC upwarp and unsolved glitches, I was able to hopefully create a comprehensive video about this hot topic. Shoutouts to Stick for info on Otogami's cart slap and cart slaps in general. Special shoutouts to the Glitch Doctor for assisting with research and editing this video. Thank you so much for watching,
Yeah.
and remember to shoot for the moon.
That's very interesting, but it just shows how easy it is that some crazy theory just spreads around the internet and people just believe it because some people just want to do some clickbaiting.